A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to welcome you to the Bar Association of Sri Lanka webinar organized by the Professional and Career Development of Women Lawyers Committee of the BASL with the support of the BASL Seminars Committee on the topic, Beating the Clock to Reach the Apex. This is the 11th webinar of the 4th webinar series on professional, personal, and career development, hosted by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka and conducted on the Zoom platform. And for those of you who are unable to register on Zoom, hopefully you're joining us on the YouTube live stream on the BASL YouTube channel. Before we start, we would like to thank the Professional and Career Development of Women Lawyers Committee of the BASL, Chairperson Mrs. Indika Nagaratna Kotagoda, Co-Chairperson Mrs. Nalini Manatunga, Convener Mrs. Aparajita Aryadasa, and co-conveners Mrs. Umeshika Dalpadatu and Mrs. Vindika Sugasena. We would also like to thank the Seminars Committee of the BASL, the Chairman of the Seminars Committee and Secretary of the BASL, Mr. Rajiv Amarasuriya, Convener of the Seminars Committee and Assistant Secretary of the BASL, Mr. Pasilu Silva, and co-conveners, Mr. Pandulavanni Arachi, Mr. Oshan Uberatna, Ms. Ann Devendra, and Ms. Nikini Mapitigaman. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the President of the BASL, Mr. Salia Pires, President's Council, and the other members of the Management Committee of the Bar Association for all the support and guidance. As I've already mentioned, today's topic is beating the clock to reach the apex, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the esteemed panel and moderator for today. First, let me introduce Mr. Prashantalal Dialvis, President's Council. A proud product of Ananda College, Mr. Prashantalal Dialvis obtained his Bachelor of Laws and Masters in Law from the University of Colombo. He was called to the bar 35 years ago and was a state counsel for over 7 years. He joined the unofficial bar in the year 1991, and today he practices in trial and appellate courts of Sri Lanka. Mr. Dialvis was awarded Silk in the year 2012. Mr. Dialvis was a director at Sampath Bank and deputy chairman of Siapata Finance. He's also a director of Softlogic Holdings, SC Securities, Asset Line Leasing, Coral Sand Hotels, and Alethea International School. He's also a lecturer at several universities and is a member of the Incorporated Council of Legal Education, Council of the University of Moratuwa, Press Council of Sri Lanka, Faculty Board of Faculty of Law, University of Colombo, and Center for Studies of Human Rights, University of Colombo. He's also an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK and serves as an honorary legal advisor of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, Sri Lanka. He was a member of the Official Languages Commission of Sri Lanka and was the director of the Board of Management of the Lakshma Kadragama Institute. The second panelist is Mrs. Dilani Algaratnam. Mrs. Algaratnam is an attorney at law and is currently a director of the Women's Fund Asia and a director of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, ICLP Alternate Dispute Resolution Center. She also chairs the legislative subcommittee of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce and is a member of the advisory board of the Education Forum, Sri Lanka. At the time of her retirement from John Kills Holdings PLC, she was a member of the Group Executive Committee and had group-level responsibility over legal and secretarial, human resources, enterprise risk management, sustainability and CSR, group sourcing, and for the business of John Keel's Office Automation. She has also been a long-standing director of Union Assurance and a director of ICTA Sri Lanka, amongst the many other directorates that she has held. Mrs. Algaratnam also held the position of council member of the Sri Lanka Institute of Directors and was, for a long time, a member of the National Labour Advisory Committee. Our final panelist for the day is Mr. Sudat Pereira. Mr. Pereira is a founder and managing partner of Sudat Pereira Associates. Called to the bar in the year 1991, Mr. Pereira has over 30 years of experience in the legal profession and is known for his expertise in intellectual property and dispute resolution. In fact, he has been named in the Legal 500 Hall of Fame for intellectual property and dispute resolution. He also specializes in compliance law matters and assists clients across a wide spectrum of industries on regulatory issues such as, and including high-level negotiations with the government in dealing with departments such as the Board of Investment, Customs, Department of Labor, Exchange Control Department, and the Registrar of Companies. Mr. Perera is a member of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, the International Bar Association, the Asian Patent Attorneys Association, the International Trademark Association, and the International Association of Outsourcing Professionals. And the moderator for this session is Mrs. Meshika Dalpadatu, who is also a convener of the Professional and Career Development of Women Lawyers Committee of the BASL. Mrs. Dalpadatu is an attorney at law, currently serving as the research consultant at the Lawyers for Human Rights and Development, and serves as a lead trainer towards responsive citizens. Mrs. Dalpadatu is qualified in law, management, capacity building, research, and advocacy, and holds a Master of Business Administration, specializing in human resource management from the University of Wales, as well as a Bachelor of Commerce from the University of Colombo. She has held the position of Head of Research and Policy of the Program Committee of the BASL, as well as the Head of Department cum Lecturer in Law and Business Management at the Capital School of Business Management, Wembley, UK. Mrs. Dalpadatu has also served as a legal associate specializing in conveyancing at MHM Solicitors, Leicester, UK, and in the insurance claims at Irving Mitchell Solicitors in their offshore offices. She also served as an associate at Varners and Sampath Bank, engaging in civil and criminal litigation at the beginning of her career. Finally, let me remind members joining this session by Zoom to send in their questions through the Q&A chat box to reach the moderator. I will now hand over the proceedings to the moderator. Over to you, Mrs. Dalpadatu.
Thank you so much, Tanuja. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I have to thank Tanuja for introducing our distinguished panel tonight. I'm honored and privileged to moderate this session, which includes an exceptionally talented and qualified panel who will enlighten us on how they beat the clock to reach the apex in this exciting and interesting webinar hosted by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka. So as informed by Tanuja, I encourage you to post the questions if you're joining in via Zoom on the chat box, and also if you're joining us via YouTube to leave your question as a comment. So I will be able to post the questions during the Q&A time at the end. So we all know a career in law can be very fast-paced and highly demanding. For many of us in the legal profession, 12-hour or 16-hour days are not out of ordinary, with constant demands from clients and various other stakeholders, which can lead us working around the clock. So I've had the privilege of working with several dozens of excellent legal luminaries throughout my 17 years in the profession. And what I have observed with these exceptional lawyers is that they genuinely care about those they serve, be it their clients, be it their colleagues, their juniors, different community members, or even at the society at large. Considering the work they have contributed to, and this goes very well in terms of our panel members tonight, it's quite evident that they are present in almost everywhere in the profession and also in multidisciplinary sectors you can think of. So without further ado, I would like to invite our first panelist, Mr. Prasantha Laldi Alvis, President's Counsel, to share some thoughts. Sir, you as a counsel travel around the country to appear in cases. You're present in corporate sector in their governing bodies, and you are a lecturer in many renowned universities and also in almost all of the continuing legal education programs hosted by the Bar Association. You are a driving force in all forms of legal and system reforms. And on top of all of that, you find time to mentor juniors, share your experiences, knowledge very generously. You are present in almost all of the important events of your alma mater, Ananda College, not forgetting all those religious and cultural initiatives that you support. These are few of many things that you do. I would really like to know, on behalf of the audience, how would you find your time? How would you find the right amount of time to do all of this, sir?
Yeah, thanks, Umeshika. Good evening to everyone, my fellow panelists and the audience. It's a very interesting question that you posed. How are you going to do all this at the same time? Now, if you are talking of multitasking, that is, doing the same task at the same time, I did never do that. I get involved in whatever I do at different times of different occasions. And that's how I operated. Now, if you look at the matrix that I speak of, every thing that you have in your life is either urgent or not urgent, or important or not important. So you have many things. Yes, I'm very conscious of this matrix. I like to stress and I like to work towards answering your questions on this matrix. Now, what are the urgent and important things? Simply, they are the deadlines. Now, as a lawyer, we have to file the answer plain within the stipulated time. We can't go over the prescribed period. We have to have deadlines in court, written submissions and things like that. As a family member, we have deadlines about our children, our exams and things like that for a mother. And in finance, you have a credit card, payment date, and that's a deadline. And then as an academic that I teach, you have to mark your papers, give abstracts in academic work on a particular deadline. Now, this is urgent and important. Now, the question is, when you get all these, when you come to these urgent and important things, Umeshika, you have to do it. That means you are closer to the date of the deadline, you have to do it. There is no other way, you have to do it. Now, there are two things happening here. If you try to, now, most of us sometimes, good old days, I used to wait till the last moment to draft the answer, plain or the written submission. Then at the last moment, you find all the stress coming into your life, Umeshika. Then you don't enjoy that work. It doesn't come, the best of yours never come out because you are stressed out. Deadlines, you are stressed out. And there's another aspect. Imagine I have to file an answer tomorrow and my child falls sick today. End of your whole work, job. So you will fail. Imagine your friend comes from abroad and asks you to come out for a drink. You have not done your answer or the deadline. You can never meet that friend whom you might never meet again. So these are the factors that it comes in urgent and important thing. So I make sure in life, whatever I do, I never fall into this category. So how do I do it? Let's look at it. Most of the things we do, Umeshika, is either not urgent and not important. Please look at your life. You will see this happening. Now, what happened was my juniors told me, sir, you must go to the Facebook. And that's where you can send your message. So, Umeshika, the first few, I would say week or two, 10 days, I was engrossed in my Facebook. But I'm asking you, is it urgent? Is it important?
That's right, sir.
Exactly. To me, now I know, no, it's a pastime. It's free time that you do. Now, most of us use, if you look at your life, we don't use this, we use most of the time, not important and not urgent matter. You must discard that. You must discard, otherwise you are in trouble. So your time is out. Then you have something like urgent but not important. Why should you do that? Why should you do that? No point. So delegate it. So what happens? You are relieved because that is not important but urgent. Delegate it. Now comes the important point. There are some things that is important but not urgent. Like, now you don't get a written submission date immediately. They will give you a month, maybe quickly, at least 1 week to file your thing. So Don't ever fall into that. You must plan. This is the most important thing. Now, I'll give you one by one example. When you have to file an answer or abstract, or even if I had to do a webinar, I would delegate it to my juniors now. I've got the assignment in this event. I shared it with others, and they get me information from the beginning. And if I had to write an article to an academic paper or a journal, for the first day I'm given, I make the points. And I tell people, immediately. I don't wait till the last moment. All my friends who are involved in that, please send me your material. You must delegate to others. You must have juniors who are very strong, not subservient, like Kikili, Patau going behind you. You must have challenging juniors, Umeshika, who supports you with that.
That's right,
one of the key. Exactly. So when you do that, when you plan immediately, then things start coming. And every day in the night, I plan the next day. So at least if I have to mark question papers, I don't wait till the last time. I must confess, when I got the question papers in bulk when you are teaching, I waited till the last moment. Now comes the deadline. Sometimes I remember the first set, I didn't go to courts the last few days. I had to wait and mark the whole day, morning and night. And that was suffering. I never enjoyed marking the answer scripts. But now I marked at least 1 or 3 or 4, 5 answer scripts a day. And some days you may miss, but then I know next day I must catch up. So you don't wait.
Procrastination was never an issue, sir, right?
Absolutely. My life, no. My life, no. You have worked with me in the Bar Association.
Exactly,
right?
sir.
You have given me certain lectures, that. So moment you gave it, I take it and I plan immediately. I never procrastinate. So friends, like we have to pay the credit card. I mean, young boys and girls today, right? You just don't wait till the last moment. You must plan. The beauty of credit card is you have 45 days. A lot of people don't understand. Like credit card is a very useful tool for economic management.
Exactly, sir.
Because you have 45 days to pay, right? But that's a danger, because if you don't pay on that day, you're finished. Most of the young people, this is a problem. They wait till the last moment and can't pay, and the interest comes and they are in trouble. But if you
I think you're bringing a good point, sir, because I really wanted to ask you how you balance the quality and time, because that is also very important. As you say, if you wait for the last moment, I'm sure that there is no quality in that work. It's going to be a sloppy work. So how did you actually manage quality and time? Because quality takes a lot of time. So how do you actually, how did you manage it?
Okay. The first thing I like to say is, now look at COVID. Right? We all have enough time for time. No. Hear me, Meshika?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I can.
We had enough time. No. I'm asking all of you. Did we give enough quality time? I say no. We had no time, but we did everything. Now, I thought earlier, I'm doing my doctorate. I can do my doctorate, finish it. I must confess, we had enough and more quantity time, but it didn't happen. So what does it prove? The nature has given us COVID, and it has proven that what matters, Umeshika, is quality. So I'll give you a few examples, right? When my kids, I give my wife quality time, my juniors quality time, my children quality time. That means I'll give you a few examples. When you are with your wife, right? You show love. You give full love at that moment. It's not, I never had, if you talk of quantity, I never had a lot of time with her. But I can assure you, whatever little time I had, you must, love is to be shown to your family, your juniors, everyone. Love is about giving, right? And you have to go do that quality time. I'll give you an example. When my son was small, before sleep, he need to go and touch a traffic light. Now in the night I'm at home, no, I did it. Every day I did it. But how many minutes? Few minutes. And he used to, sleep on my shoulder. I would make a music and dance. He would, on my head, he would put your head and sleep. Now that's quality time. Showing love, you don't need a lot of time to show even your juniors. What is quality? They are in trouble.
You're
Juniors are
living
in
in that
trouble.
moment, sir. You're living in that
Exactly.
moment.
You don't have to keep on talking and talking to them. No, but when they are in real trouble, you have to go for them, juniors. Right? And that's what you mean by quality time. Now, you use the word live in the moment. Now, Umeshika, I have a lovely song, my theme song. A lot of people know that. I'll just, it's Avadivanna, C.T. Fernando's song. That's my theme song. And there you see, Duka Sapa Deka Perali Yai. That means living for the moment.
Exactly, sir.
Because you don't regret about the past, it has gone. You don't think and plan and worry much about the future. You live for this moment and give the best shot. Now, at this moment, I have to give my best shot to this webinar. That's it. Don't try to be a perfectionist. Now, I will never be a perfectionist. If you are talking of quality and say perfection is Umeshika, I can never achieve that. Yes. Don't worry about it. Any one of you friends, don't worry, my learner friends. Right? Give your best shot in whatever you do. Simple. Live for this moment. Give your best shot. That's my philosophy of life.
Yes, I think you came to a very good point again, because you earlier said they are not a multitasker, and there is this myth that multitasking is very effective. But I would really like to know, how did you manage not to multitask? What are the reasons behind not multitasking? Because this myth is actually, in studies they have said only 2.5% of the entire working population succeed in multitasking. So that is a big myth that we have, that it can be effective. How did you kind of overcome multitasking when there is a lot of tasks that you have to fulfill?
Good question, Umeshika. I don't believe in multitasking. If you talk of multitasking, what you are asking me is doing same task at the same time. That is what you call multitasking in a definition.
Yes.
I don't do that. But as I told you before, I give that moment mindfulness. Mm-hmm. Whatever I do, I am mindfulness. Now, I started this about 3 years ago, of mindfulness in eating, mindfulness in bathing. Now, earlier, I never enjoyed bathing. When you are having a bath, enjoy about the body, how the body gets cool, right? When you are doing that, that's what you call mindfulness, right? When you are eating the rice, now rice and curry is a beautiful meal, because you can mix according to your whim and fancies. Put little more paripu here, or dal here, or sambola here, right? And enjoy that moment. No point of eating and writing. That won't work. You are not sharp. You are not perfect, right? But when you train to be very mindful, you do things fast. You do things very effective. You know, effective is Umeshika doing the better. Now, you can be both effective and efficient if you believe in mindfulness. You concentrate fully on that task, even eating. Now, I am a diabetic. After this, I don't eat too much, right? I stop because I eat less, because I enjoy with mindfulness. So I invite, don't think of multitasking. Do whatever you do, concentrate, mindful, do your best. Live for the moment. That's it, Umeshika.
Okay, sir. I think considering the time we are passing now, mindfulness is also very important, because we have to be very mindful of all the environments that we live in. So if anyone is feeling low or demotivated, sir, how would you advise them to, pick up themselves, raise themselves, and to continue going in this very bad patch of our history, sir?
This is bad of patch of history, Umeshika, as you said. But all of us, look at our life. We have all has felt it. The day my son was born, 19th of April, 1997, my elder son, I'm the only son of late Dunstan D. Alvis President's Council. That day at 5:30, I got a report of cancer for him, right?
That's really hard.
I would say my father. Then I have my second son, a beautiful, handsome boy. 2.5 years, he stopped talking. And it is autism. right? So a lot of people think, hi, Prasantalal having a good life. No, every one of us have challenges.
Exactly, sir. Yes.
Every one of us, right? Now, how to overcome this? Now, I'll give you an example. If you have a galak in front of you, big one, either you jump over it, or that is, you have to overcome that. And either you avoid it, go around it, or you break the thing. Now, how to do this? You must have a vision in life. Always vision in life. Even vision in whatever you do. When I was given risk management of Sampath Bank, I was compelled to take it. I have never done risk. What did I do? It was a huge challenge. I have never done risk. I did was I put up a vision. Best risk averse bank in Sri Lanka. 3 years, we made that happen. Right? When Sri Lanka women went to a rugger match in 2002, when Kamani Janadasa, my junior, was the manager, right? What happened was we gave them a vision, a dream. We put a picture, planted those pictures with faces of the girls, and we gave them everyone with a cup in hand. We gave them a vision. You won't believe they won. These poor girls from army and slimline, right? It's all about dreams. It's all about vision. So when you have overcome the challenge, always keep a dream in front of you. As I said, you can keep a picture in front of you. You will achieve that. Whatever task you do, right? Overcoming challenge, as I told you, either break the barriers or go over it. You need a vision. Look at very simple, right? Look at when you look up, you are positive. When you come down with your head, you are negative. This hormone, this hormone. Head up, you just put your head up, you will see positive. Moment you put your head down, you are negative. What's that? It's the hormones. So never put your head down. Simple thing. I have so many. Time is limited. I can talk many body language theories, That's another session if it is so. You positive. Hormones, right? It is about being positive. And how to do positive? Having a vision in front of you, in your hand. So, last one I like to say is, it is the family that matters.
Yes, sir.
Family that matters. To me, my success is the family, not only my wife or the children, even my extended family. When we had 2002 Junior Bar Conference, right? Many juniors who are now in the top field in 2002, right? They used to come home. My entire extended family, I was very newly married then. They supported me. If not, there can't be the Junior Bar Conference. In 1997, when I became national president of Junior Bar or JCs, at the Hawaii, I was going to run for the next year vice president. They asked us, what is your priority? Right? Right? What is your priority? We all said, JCs next year. They said, no. Your priority first is family. And when the family supports you, you can do the job better. Exactly. And when you can do job and the family better, they all support you to do social work. My key is my family. If not for my wife, my children. So every weekend, Sunday lunch, even today, we plan our week. We discuss our plans. Right? We can discuss at the question time anything more, because I must hand over within, as our time stipulates. So as time management, I like to say we will discuss more. We discuss everything in Sunday lunch. That's very crucial. It becomes a family project. It becomes a family project. So if you are not happy, stable family life, gone. Gone. Right. Family comes first. Then comes the job, and both of them will support you this. My success story to overcome challenges, I say, is having a vision and having a strong family backing to back me whatever I do and wherever I do. Thank you, Umesh.
It actually reminds me some saying which says the challenges that they make life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes our life very meaningful. So there we go, a perfect example set via action for younger generations in our profession to follow and thrive. Thank you very much, sir, for all those valuable experiences that you shared. Next, we have yet another exceptional lawyer, Mrs. Dilani Alagaratnam, attorney at law and former member of the Group Executive Committee of the John Keys PLC. Madam, you represent the highly demanding corporate sector in our panel tonight. As a former president of the group HR, Legal Sustainability and ERM, your role required you to shoulder many responsibilities. During that same time, you also served as a director of Union Assurance PLC and several other unlisted companies. In addition, you also serve as the director of Women Fund Asia, Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, and all of these make your plate full in terms of your professional life. On top of all, you are the queen at home. You're a wife, you're a mother, you're a daughter, daughter-in-law, a colleague, a friend. For me and many other lady lawyers who are also shouldering the same similar kind of responsibilities at home, it seems like that you are having way more than 24 hours on your clock. Madam, how did you find time to do all of this? Madam, you're on mute, madam.
Thank you, Meshika, for that kind introduction, and good evening to the panel and the participants. So I think basically, I think your question is similar to what you asked earlier from Prasantalal, is how did I find the right amount of time to do all of this? Well, it's a long story, but if I were to just sort of narrow it down, I think when you look at what is the right amount of time, you have to look at it with reference to the outcomes one desires.
Yes.
To me, as the previous speaker said, I would say that I've spent the right amount of time if the use of that time results in doing what I had undertaken well, not perfectly, but well, and in a timely fashion, without delay, right? So if someone takes all the time in the world and get something done well, certainly it would not mean that you have been successful in managing your time. So what you do has to be done in a timely fashion, and it has to be done well. So again, looking at the question from that lens of using time for doing things well in a timely fashion, my secret, I think, which to capture this elusive time is kind of sevenfold when I really think about it. Firstly, delegation, right? Having a team, you did speak about all the things I used to do. So having a team was very important, an empowered team. But ultimately, it's not delegation in the sense of total delegation. Ultimately, you should remain responsible for the successes and failures of your team. That is important. At the end of the day, you are responsible. Then being open to learning, not to shy away from saying, I do not know. Always go to somebody and say, enlighten me, tell me, I do not know. People should not think that it is a weakness. Always ask. I am never shy to ask. Thirdly, learning from my mistakes. And that is very important because we need to revisit what we did, what went wrong, things don't go right all the time, and see what can be done, what are the learnings, and capture those. Then also understand the context of the work that is at hand. You need to understand. Now, today, I find people not reading newspapers, which is a huge problem to me. I used to tell my team that you need to know what is happening around you. You need to know what is happening in the country, what is happening in your businesses, in those industries, and what is happening in your profession. What is happening? Are there new bills coming out? You need to know, right? Then also not reinvent the wheel all the time. If somebody has done it and done something well, copy it and make it better, right? And the other mantra I have is always get things done right the first time. Because if you don't do that, it comes to bite you. It takes time away from you. It shows lack of skill or competence on your part. And in the long term, it is going to affect your career growth. So get it right the first time. And lastly, not lose your common sense. A lot of people lose their common sense. If you have your common sense, law is at the end of the day common sense. If you lose that and you theorize, you lose the plot and you lose time, right? So those are things I kind of adhere to, and it help us to take control of this limited time, make it elastic, make it stretch, because there are so many things we have to fit into, especially as a woman also, we have other things to do, you know. Of course, I mean, having a support structure, which I will talk about later, really would help in us doing all these things. So for most of you listening, you might think, okay, this is a nice task list. I can tick it off and everything will be tickety-boo. But it won't be so. Because at the bottom of all this, it is your personal commitment, your passion to do things well and do them right. Otherwise, all of this is unimportant, right? You have to take pride in the work you do, in the work of your teams. So that's how I will look at your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. I would really like to know if you used any tools and techniques in prioritizing your work, because it's because we have to manage home, work, and other community social work. Did you prioritize, or what were the tools and techniques that you used in prioritizing your work?
I didn't have anything very fashionable which is written in books to do this. But I have a to-do list which I do every day. I learned this from my first boss, who was a chartered accountant with an MBA from the Sloan School of MIT nearly 40 years ago. And I follow it to date.
Right.
So this list could be on a little scrap of paper. It's not a large piece of paper. Now, of course, you can put it on Post-its. But it helps you to jog your memory as to what has to get done on that day. At the end of the day, when you strike off the things you have done, it gives you great satisfaction. That little piece of paper gives you a nice smile, right? So in the morning, before I start, until the computer boots up, I spend 5 minutes writing what I need to do for the day. And also I internalize those items as to what I need to do. Now, please don't spend too much time on that. It's a skill you will learn over years, but if you spend 1 hour on your list thinking about what you're going to do, I think you have lost the plot. Right? It is to jog your memory that you need to do these things, right? So that's how, that's the only tool I used, I must say. Yes.
I think that's the most important and most crucial thing that in prioritizing, madam. Do you ever came across competing priorities, or how would you deal with competing priorities? Like if work priorities and then home priorities come up competing each other, were there any special ways that you dealt with them?
Well, no special ways. Again, now you have a to-do list and then you have to prioritize, right? Depending on the importance. And Prasanthal also spoke of some ways of doing it, though I don't use such a scientific method to it. I work on the basis that life is not simple. At any time, something can come your way, especially when you're lawyers. It seems inevitable but your to-do list can go out of the window in no time. So you have got to prioritize your work. In a commercial sense, when you prioritize because you have looked at me and I'm here because of my commercial and my business background, you have to have a sense of the businesses. Then you understand what is more urgent, because people will be asking for so many things. Everything should have been done 1 week ago. But you are able to prioritize if you know your business. Then you know what you're talking about. This again, you will not learn overnight, but you have to be open for learning and ask what you do not know. Then it will get you there faster. And just one other thing I want to tell, because in prioritization, something people forget is communication. Communication is very important, because when you prioritize, you need to tell your internal client or whoever that person who is looking for your services that your piece of work will be done on this particular time, on this particular date. If there's no communication, there's frustration, and you're seen as not performing. And giving time is easy in a sense, but you have to be, your record should show that is credible, that you will deliver on a particular date and time. Then the pressure ceases. So that's something yeah.
Thank you very much, madam. Coming back to shouldering the private life responsibilities, how did you actually balance the time between your professional, personal, social work? As you correctly said, you prioritize. But were there any strict work hours set in terms of your day-to-day life, madam?
No, I never had set hours, but I try to finish my work during the hours I'm at the workplace. Today, I think it has become a little more difficult with people working online, and things seems to there's a convergence of work and the home life. But I must say is that in my case, I try to finish my work, but invariably there are times when you have to work longer, and it happens because of the nature of the work, nature of the job you hold, and that type of thing. So it happens, but it's a little difficult. I found it difficult to say that, no, look, I will work only 8 to 5. But I managed my time. I used to somehow complete my work during those hours and come back home. Thank you.
Madam, you spoke about the support structure. Support is always a relief. When did you ask for support when you needed it? How did it all happen? What was the structure?
Well, I do not ask for support when I suddenly think I need it. Okay, I try to manage the requirement. So I would set up my support structures in advance, and only if there's a glitch, if there's an issue, then I would reach out to someone else to help. So today in particular, I think people have realized that when it comes to housework, especially the home front, that the spouses are equal partners in that, and they shoulder equal burden. And it is actually nice to see young men today actually take pride in the fact that they support their spouses at home as an equal partner, and they take pride in it, and that's really, really nice. I think that's how it should be. And some of us have been lucky with, husbands chipping in. So I have had situations where some of my board directors' wives tell me, oh, I met Jeffrey at the shopping today at Kiehl's in the morning after courts, because he would do the round if I can't. So it's like the spouses, the female spouses of the directors meet Jeffrey doing the same thing, you know. And so
it's always nice, madam, no, to have
yeah.
a supporting hand.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it is important, especially when your children are growing up, also for there to be a presence. I was lucky because my husband is a lawyer, and the fact that he used to come home by 1:32 the latest. So during the time the child was in school, and when the child is back, he was there in the house. So that was really, it helped, and it gave you peace of mind. And of course, my husband, I must just, I don't know whether he's listening, but he used to pick up my daughter every day, and he used to say that I did it for almost 10 to 12 years. And I don't know whether it's because of the yummy mummies at the gate, but he used to do that. Okay.
Okay, madam. Coming back to something very important for all lady lawyers. Madam, you carry yourself very elegantly, lot of aura, and you bring lot of positivity when you enter a room, and just by your mere presence. How important is self-care in all of this, all time management? There is always this myth that I don't have time for that, this and all of that. So I would really like to know, in your days of planning, how important self-care is.
I think it is very important, and nobody should think that it is, there are other more important things, because at the end of the day, it is important to your family in the long term. And in the immediate term, it helps you to command the authority you need and also garner respect. Mm-hmm. Right? It is a value add to you. Right? Never forget that. No one needs to be dressed in the most expensive or designer clothes or any such thing. But what is required is for one to be dressed neatly and be well groomed. Right? When one is slovenly, then a question comes to your mind, whether the work too would suffer the same predicament.
That's right.
So in this whole work-life balance, people talk of, that piece takes a very important role.
Madam, after listening to all what you said, it's quite evident that the right balance is not something we can find anywhere, but it is something that we create ourselves. Thank you so much, madam, for sharing those valuable experiences generously with us. So because the time is running up and we have another set of important sessions coming up, I will now invite our next dynamic figure in the panel, Mr. Sudat Pereira, attorney at law, founder and managing partner of Sudat Pereira Associates. So as the founder and managing partner of this renowned and top-notch law firm, with clients ranging from local to multinational, from global 1,000, Fortune 500, all these enterprises from different industries. The brand that you have developed, Sudat Pereira Associates, promises client commitment. And we all know that organizational leadership to administration, administrative work, and everything in between. Effective law firm management is considered to be one of the exhausting and tedious, yet satisfying task in the legal profession. It's widely regarded that there is no one size fit in all sort of solutions to managing a law firm, which involves serving a diverse range of clients as well as maintaining a massive staff. And also, in addition to all that managing work you do, you're also considered a specialist on various fields of law and frequently called upon to assist clients across a wide spectrum, especially on regulatory issues or high-level negotiations with the government departments. And in terms of, in addition to all of that, in terms of mentoring and coaching, over 3 decades, you have trained, coached, mentored many juniors through your law firm to have their own mark in the legal profession. So these are only a small fraction of many things that you are champion of. I'm again posting the same question because it's very kind of interesting to know, how did you actually manage being this active, passionate, committed, visionary? Because it's not easy, it's not an easy task. So you're mute, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yeah, my apologies. There's a small technical error. First of all, good evening, everyone, and my fellow panelists, and thank you for inviting me. Special thanks to the President and Secretary and the entire team organizing these seminars. You all are doing a wonderful job. So let me, how I, this is a wide topic. I can go on speaking, so let me try to, in a nutshell, you have to have a passion. It was my other panelists was spoken about it. You have to have a passion, and you have to love what you are doing, and you have to choose. So that's how I started, and same way I harness talent and build a team. In order to build a team, it's they have to be very positive. You have to have a very positive mind. Even sometimes you engage in doing looking at many negative things. Within that, I always encourage my team to look at the positive path. Let's see, and then we'll work around it and never give up. So that's the kind of attitude that I adopt in my life, building these things and finding the right people. And also I am a strong believer in survival of the fittest. So you come into my team, we are very flexible in working, and we love each other. It's a family kind of thing. We have close to 100 people in different departments. So everyone needs to be a performer. I keep saying, you have to be a performer. Doesn't matter whether you're an assistant clerical staff, you're also performing something. If you don't perform, and it's chain reaction. So ultimate goal is positive delivery without compromising quality in a timely manner, and also communication. I will not go into these areas in length. I think Dilani Madam especially spoke about it. So I believe in all these things. You have to have a passion in a nutshell. So that is how I find it. If you love doing what you are doing, you will find that time. And also, if someone says, I am going to give 100% to your organization, to you, to work, I don't believe in that person. If someone says, I look after my family, I look after my people around you, it can be employees, extended relatives. So that is also important. If person who take care of their family will definitely positively deliver within the organization. They'll do the task that they are asked to perform.
Right.
So that's basically, I like to restrict myself to that
Yes, I would
answer
really
in
like
that
to
way.
know, because you said that over 100 people are actually dependent on you. I would say, I don't actually say dependent, but your planning of the days, the weeks, the months, everything is like matters to them as well. How do you consider, what are the things that you consider when you're planning your day or week or month, or maybe the long-term goals of your organization?
Well, I have created various, especially when you are managing a law firm, maybe it applies to other businesses. You know, you can study management, you can read, and, you know, internet is like highway, you will find various methods and all that. But finally, as a leader, you have to create your own strategy, how you are going to train your staff, how you are going to achieve all what you plan to achieve within the time period that you have to perform these things. So I generally plan my week, especially court litigation. I still hands on with litigation, even though I don't go to court very often. Only specific matters I go to court. But when I started my career 30 years ago, I was always in court,
That's right.
moving really fast court to court and coordinating with the juniors. But now I have created the team, and they are very capable of doing their appearances and very confident. So what I create the court list with, we have various individuals handling this within the organization. So I do the weekly this thing in advance, so that everybody knows, you know, who's going for this case, and they have time to look at everything and talk to the right person, whoever is directly involved with the case within the organization. So they have that. So, and also they have access to my calendar. So if they want to fix a meeting, so they can simply speak to my PA, and they arrange the meeting. That's how I do things. So basically, with the modern technology, as a firm, we have a special team handling IT. So we embrace changes, and then in order to effectively deliver the task that needs to be done. And then I do that. And if I have to go to court, I avoid fixing meetings in the morning. Generally, I fix it throughout the day, but I try to finish everything by 5, and I try to come home and spend time with the family and everything. Most of the time I have done that. In fact, you know, for 5 years, I stopped going to court because I wanted to drop my. I have triplets, 3 daughters. They are teenage. On the 5th, they all became teenagers. So they, I used to drop them in the morning and pick them also. I try to do that, and my wife take care of their educational things. But I participate in all events, never missed. Even today, very rarely, beyond certain instances, beyond control, I may have missed, but generally I do that. So that I think my team also follows these things. So these values over the years. Now our firm is 20 years, even though I was setting up, I was with another law firm. So I have lived with law firms, you know, that culture, and I changed the thinking of law firms in this country. And I'm very happy that I have created a talented individual. Many of them are ladies, and they are holding good positions around the world as well as in Sri Lanka. So that's so I do, and also my day. I just in a nutshell, I get up early. You know, you have to look after yourself. You have to groom yourself. You can't just with age give up everything. You have to be positive. You have to bring that positive energy into your mind, body, everything. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to face anyone, any task. So I do a walk with my wife, and sometimes my kids also join me. So we do 1 hour walk. So I get up around 4:30 every day. Even if I sleep little late, I have I make sure that I get up at 4:30. Then 5 to 6 I walk, and then 6 to 7 with the trainer I am doing my personal exercises and everything like toning and things like that. So you have to look at these things. You have to look after. You have to love yourself to serve the others. I keep telling this to all my juniors, young, legal interns, apprentices, everybody. I always say that you look after yourself. I like to see a beautiful person right in front of me, you know. So that's important. So that is very positive sort of thinking and all that. You create a lot of energy in the room. So if you're really happy to do something, you know, so that's you start the day like that, and then you stick to your time schedule because it's all systems. So if something is not right, I change the system, not the individual. I speak to the individual and correct them. So never run down, because then if you, especially juniors, if you can destroy them by, you know, being aggressive. But I show my displeasure if I'm not happy with something, and they all know. And they on their own, they come and say, "Sir, very sorry, but we will do it this way." You can make mistakes. We are all human. We are not perfect. We can't do everything perfectly. So that's basically those are the things that I try to uh, push my juniors to adopt. And also communication. I'm a great communicator. I never miss a call. I always return at least, if I see a call at a meeting, I quickly send a message asking them to send a message. Then I return all the calls on my way while traveling. And also my team, then I talk to my finance team, admin, IT. So that's how we manage these things.
It's quite evident, sir, that you take time to make time, and that those are the extra hours that you have created for yourself. So I really want to know something about the managing deadlines, because your clientele it includes international and corporate clients where they value time above all. How did you actually set up what is that procedure that you put up for the organization in managing those important deadlines? Because you're working with 100 people, and all sorts of deadlines will be there with the firm. How did you actually manage those deadlines?
No, my team is, you know, like Sudatkar Associates and related companies, you know, like we have outsourcing, IP, and many different areas. Now, see, you know, of that, about 40 lawyers altogether. So now their work, so now when I also do this, I list out on a piece of paper that I've been doing in my diary. I write task which needs completion during the day, during the week. So then I write, we have codes to all the lawyers. So I put that name in front. So then I know this has to go today, this has to go. So I tick off. So if there is a delay, so during the day, I call and check. I buzz and check what's happening. Do you need help? And you can get somebody to help. Like that, we very rarely we miss this thing. But still, if there is a delay, I try to talk to the client and ask for a little more time and all that. Everything comes to, especially lawyer's office, very urgent, extremely urgent. But you know, when you look at the matter, we can see. So then, without you know, showing that, you can tell the client, "Can I have extra day?" So that's very important. So being honest, you know, for sake of doing, okay, I'll do it today, everything, no, because so they also respect. So then over the years, they know that's how we work. So they once they become long-term clients, they know we will definitely deliver. So like as you create one good client with all what I just said, they will promote you. Not in a bad way, not an unethical way. They will say, go to him, go to you, go to Prasanta, Ilani, like that. You know, that's how, you know, I'm a different perspective running a law firm and delegating. And delegation,
Yeah.
you have to delegate your this, and you have to trust. I have no fear of delegating. I'm a strong believer in people. I love people, and I pick the right people, and they also give their positive. This, if somebody is negative, you can clearly see it. And without just driving that person away, we try to correct and say, you fit into the group. Survival of the fittest. Darwin's theory. I believe in that.
You actually brought a
Get a
good
quality
point,
team.
sir. Yes, because I was when I was talking to many of the young professionals, what I found is that they kind of at the beginning of their career, or maybe they are a newcomer to a profession, they have this something called delegation phobia. I must do it. I have to do it. I can't trust anyone. So from the inception of your law firm, sir, I remember that it represented a diverse set of clientele. And it also requires, as I said before, a lot of teamwork. How did you ever come across, as you said you didn't, but if anyone is coming across delegation phobia, would you have any advice to give them to overcome it? Like how did you manage with risk taking? How did you build your self-confidence at the beginning of the law firm?
No, that's now, right at the beginning, I said, you know, you have to love what you are doing. And then you start thinking around it. And you have to have a very positive mind. And that's very important. So if you are with a positive mind, and also then you will find the, if you groom yourself to be like that, you will meet the right people. And, you know, I recently advertised over 100 applicants. Now, see, it's hard to choose, and sometimes you can't take everybody, you know, you have to find the right person. So when you speak, I look at different things, not the qualifications. So we all have similar qualifications, right? So what matters for me is that positive mind, and most of my team are young players. They are all young players. A lot of people have started as apprentices and ended up as heads of partners heading different departments, majority. So it is, I have not even thought about this phobia. If you are with a positive mind, that's why I said, even with so many negative issues in a complex matter, I always try to see tell me what is positive in this whole thing. It doesn't matter whether it's this thing or something internal issue. Tell me the positive thing in this. So then you will gradually get over that. Now see, when I walked into Halsdorf 30 years ago, I looked at, that is 1991. I looked at only few law firms in this country started by, you know, the British lawyers. 100 years, 160 years. I thought to myself, let me do it, but that's a different story, you know, why I was pushed to do that and all that. So I finally made a change. I made that commitment at that time. So then stepping into a world of law firms, you have to go with a mindset of capabilities, finding the right capable talent in order to delegate. So the delegation is there in law firm. Otherwise, you can't run a law firm. If you are
And
going
also
to do everything.
Yes.
Huh?
They also said great leader, to be a great leader, that you have to learn how to delegate. So that actually shows how it's quite evident that how you have built yourself and the law firm with such powerful delegation. Pardon me, sir, for being very inquisitive about the personal life, but I would really like to know that because you are married to a non-lawyer, how did you actually balance your work and private life at different situations?
Well, it's interesting because I'm not saying, discouraging lawyers to to get married to lawyers. So that works as well. No, in my case, so it's coming from two different professions. So my wife, basically, she is SEMA and MBA. She was working in finance sector. Then she gave up after some time, and then more she's handling the home affairs a lot, and she helps me with. She works at the law firm as well and doing few tasks. So till 1 o'clock. So we have that great understanding. At the end of the day, you are coming from two different workplaces, and then it's interesting. You have so much to discuss as well, right? So that's there. So they're not boring. Sometimes if we both, I have seen sometimes we are going to the same court, going back, and you see each other, at specific times. So all these things there. So we have a good understanding. I've been married for almost 30 years now, 29 years, I think. Right. So looking at all that, so I think, and she take care of children's education and day-to-day homework and their activities and make sure everything. So as a father, I give all love and care needed. So it's wonderful, and I believe in taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, extended family. So that's there.
Yes.
So that understanding, if you have that understanding, I don't see a big problem there. We are very successful. We are happily married for many years.
It's quite evident, sir, that careful planning and especially managing your time effectively and efficiently, giving enough time to the family. So you have always deliver more than your clients expect you to deliver. So making you a champion in your field. So thank you very much, sir, for that those valuable experience shared. We can actually now move on to open the floor for questions. I will try my best to accommodate as much as possible during the limited time we have. I see in the question and answer section that there have been some questions posted by our audience. Well, the first question goes to Mr. Prashantalal Alves, sir. Dinukshi wants to know, what do you do if your partner isn't willing to plan the week or is not very organized or be able to prioritize? Because it's a very long question, sir. I will try to read as much as possible. As a wife, we end up being the buffer. Whenever anything goes wrong or is unexpected in the life of your husband or child, the wife's plan is constantly compromised. Elon Musk's mother has written a book about how often women need to replan due to family pressure. The ability to reach out to others for helping is limited due to COVID. Husbands working from home are also tied up and their ability to practically help is not enough. How do we as ladies manage under these circumstances?
Super question. Very interesting question. I like to approach this whole question in a different way, different aspects. Let me say, as an individual, first, you must depend on yourself, right? I mean, you can't be reactive according to the others. You must be very strong to plan yourself. That's a basic that you around. Now, I said, of course, my family supports, but I never meant to say that I'm not strong. So you have to have always, like Sudat pointed out, my colleague, positive energy, right? Even Dilani said that, right? I mean, Sudat kept on stressing this positive energy, right? Now, positive energy comes from others, yes, but you must be strong yourself, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing I like to understand about the mother's role, especially in our culture, right? Whatever we do, it's the whole family revolves around the mother. This is exactly what Dilani said, being a mother And also Sudat mentioned about his wife. Now, my wife also is a lawyer, but gave up law to look after the family. She went totally different, Sudat, to an event management company. Right? So, exactly, right? So what I want to say is, you will not get that, you need to remember, as a lady, the most important one in a family is the mother or the wife. I mean, that's a fact. That's our culture, right? So this is the one aspect that I like to say. First is you must think yourself, be positive, because then, as Sudha pointed out, it radiates outside. It radiates outside, right? So others can't be negative. But the moment you start reacting, moment you start getting worried, moment you start reacting to your husband or anyone in the family, it bounces back. And why waste your positive energy, Umeshika?
That's
right. And you keep on moving, right? Naturally, he or she, I mean, either way, will have to follow suit, right? That's the way to approach it, right? Rather than being negative, crying over and do that, right? We have to keep on moving. That's a fact. That's number one, right? Don't depend on anyone. Anyone, I like to repeat, anyone. You have to be on your own, on your feet. That's the basic. And then you must appreciate the woman's role. There is a huge role a woman plays. I just want to say one point from criminal law. If you take an exception to the murder, mother is excused of killing his own child because of mental imbalance of childbirth. That's exception 5, right? Mother is excused. Why? The role of a mother has been recognized even by criminal law. It becomes culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Now, what does it say? The beauty and the strong pride of a mother, right? And a woman. Our culture is totally around the woman, right? So show to him, if I'm talking this husband, or even vice versa, show your wife that you are strong, you move on, I'm not reactive, right? But do everything, your duty towards him. Don't say, and all that. No, you do your part, right? So that's a way to handle that, rather than being, crying over, because no one is perfect, Umeshika.
That's
right. Sudat pointed out, he has juniors. We all have juniors. Dilani spoke about delegation. The beauty of life is that everyone is unique. Everyone can't be the same, right? That you have to appreciate, right? Either God, wish, or karma, or whatever you name it, in the religious terms, we all are born unique. No one is same. So you have to appreciate that in life. With your juniors, with your wife, your children, you have to understand they are unique. They are special. They are different. They can't be like you. So that's exactly what my other colleague said, delegation, right? So, of course, I'm lucky. All 3 of us are lucky that we had a supportive family, like what we mentioned, but sometimes not lucky. So I just want to say in one simple word, think as a single mother. In this country is a country that have so many single mothers due to conflict. Look at them, right? There are single mothers who have lost their husbands, right? And looking after the kids and moving on. This is Sri Lanka. We have single mothers because of this damn war, war and conflicts. Lost life. Think of them, look at them. And I draw inspiration even from that kind of ladies, who fight and struggle with their family alone, with no support. That's my response, Umesh.
Yes. Can I also add something, sir? Because I'm also married to a non-lawyer who's in the IT field and not very supportive, I would say. But I have this trick where I teach my 2 kids the things that I want to teach him. So when the discussion goes on, he kind of realizes, okay, this is something that we have to get doing as a family. So that is also there, sir. We can we can strategize certain things and make it happen rather than saying that it's not supportive. So that can also be helpful to our audience if anyone is interested in.
Can I also chip in, Umeshika,
yes,
something?
Sir. Yes, sir.
To read this, Sudha, very interestingly, India did a survey. And they found that the highest number of users are found among the IT personnel and the accountant, because they deal with books. And surprisingly, the least are among the marketeers. Now, I'm a marketeer. Marketing is a full life thing. Why? Because they know how to give and take. This is all about project. And we should be proud. The next are lawyers, we lawyers. Because in courthouse, we have to compromise, right? We have to argue with another. We have to settle matter, right? As our colleagues pointed out, as Sudat said, we have to settle cases, right? So that's the training we lawyers have got into. So your partner may not be that. He may, like you, he's an IT person. He works with the machine. Machine gives orders and machine does it. So that's what you need to understand, right? We lawyers, like marketeers, are very flexible and try to work way out, Umeshika.
Right.
Yeah, over to you.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
There is another
yes,
question. Yes, sir.
No, I like to add to that. Now, see how I look at these issues. Now, see, if we need to meet 10 people, 10 clients, we'll find time. So in your diary, you must allocate that time. So, you have to train yourself, say with family, going out for dinner. So that is there. So you stick to that. And, sometimes it's little hard, but it will happen. I do that. So if I say I'm going for dinner with the family and all that, so I somehow make sure that it happens. Okay, thanks.
Yes, there's another question. Please give us some tips as to how lawyers can focus when working from home with countless distractions. Can I pose this question to Mrs. Sudat Pereira, please? Sir?
Yes.
Dealing with distractions, especially the tech noise and all of that?
Well, in my case, right now, I got our IT head also to come home. Now, see, we have adopted mostly now. We are working even local clients, international clients. Even prior to that, we adopted working via Teams and everything. So that's what you're asking, right? So
yes, sir. How did you kind of manage the countless distractions, like when you get beeps of emails and all of that every time? How did that distraction was managed?
Well, now it's like even working from home, or I'm.
Yes, working from home. Focus. Yeah.
Well, it's just you are going virtual now. This conference you approached us. We build that into that. So you organize. It's the same way. The only difference is you are going through a sort of a digital format. Yes. So that's the difference. So I don't see that. So we can sometimes, because we are working this way, we can save a lot of time. You have more quality time with the family also. So I enjoy sometimes working from home, and they also don't disturb that, those interruptions. Technical, you will have to get the whole place, fix it. And, if there is, that is very important. Yeah. So you have to have these things. I think with the technology, I'm not a technical guy, but I have the expertise because as a law firm, we have to have that. So I have that advantage. But you can have an outsourced person to handle these things at depending on your budget. Young lawyers needs, because sometimes it's costly as well. So then finally you will have that setup going.
The next.
Can I answer? Can I
yes,
also add to that? Yes. Now, I think the person is asking, I think Mokshi is asking a question about distractions at home. Now, imagine you are in courts, right? I mean, wherever you are, there are distractions. Exactly. You can't live without distractions. Now, worst scenario is courts, right? Because you get distracted. As a lawyer, you have questions from judges, you have, response to the other lawyer gets up and object to your answering questions. So much more worse distractions in office. Now that always appreciate that, distraction, you can never ever live without distractions. That's exactly very important. Now, how to get rid of that? Now, that you have to be satisfied first. You can't live without distractions. With that kind of a thing in mind, now how to get rid of that? Well, it's mindfulness. As I said, Umeshika, right?
Yes, that's right.
You should be mindfulness. It's a training, right? You must start, by how I did was I enjoy as I said, I enjoy my bath, I enjoy my food by being mindful. So when you get into a training like that, right, you get very focused. You don't get distracted, right? And your children might shout everything out, but then you now say in now at the moment we are fighting, so I'm having a distraction, but
Yes.
I can't help it. Today is a crucial match for Sri Lanka, but then you concentrate here. You close yourself, concentrate. Yes, children are shouting, everything is shouting, but you are mindful, concentrate, focus. That's a mind training you need to get to.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. The next question is also for Mr. Siddharth Pereira. I think it's because maybe this entire question is coming with the form of counseling techniques because it takes a lot of time. So the question is, do you use client counseling techniques with your clients? Is empathy towards clients an important part of your practice? If yes, how do you train your team to adopt to these techniques and exercise empathy towards your client? How, if at all, has this become important in building your clientele? Plus, now in light of COVID, I think it maybe that it takes a lot of time. So that's the question, like whether counseling techniques are used with your clients.
Yes, I have seen not because of this COVID and things. Generally, as a policy, if I give a time to a client, you dedicate that time. So you can't get distracted and all that. So you give that 100% for that time, because that person, the client, is paying for that. That's right. So they need that attention. Whether you work remotely or not, we conduct all our meetings. My diary is full every day. I give time slots and we try and do that. And so when I do that, so I have told now, COVID is not end of the road. I have told all my juniors now, I don't see them these days. Especially this entire month, we work from home, but we communicate. Now I'm going to have a meeting. We have a regular meeting with entire staff like that. So we bring these things. So then client is very important. And I have told now the dates are given by motion. So please communicate immediately, as if you went to court. You write a mail without delay. You must answer these emails within 1 day, at least. As a personally, I give a call whenever I see that some dissatisfied client saying something. I'm waiting for a response, so I quickly call and I put the record straight, so that they know that we really feel for them. So that's how you manage these things. You have to keep these clients. There are good clients, bad clients, all that. But you need all those clients. You can't categorize that way. You have to treat everybody in the same way, whether it's difficult or less fees, whatever. Some point you need all these people. I experience that now. Now we need everybody. Everyone needs this kind of support. I hope I answered that question.
Yes, sir. Yes. We have the last question today. I think we are running out of time. It's for Dilani Madam. This question is directed to Dilani Madam. As a woman in a position of authority, what challenges have you faced in asserting your position as a leader? And any advice you have for young female lawyers in this regard? Madam, would you like to give us an answer?
Yes, thank you. I think one is what you know as a lawyer. And if you're giving advice, give good advice. and be confident that the advice you are giving is good. So then people, I mean, with the fact that you are a woman, it goes out of the window. It is immaterial. The fact is you are giving good advice to your client or in the organization. So therefore, you garner the respect you deserve, right? And I think that is one of those things. And also, it's ultimately your work ethic is not just one thing. It's how you actually work in your organization, what you believe in, how you take responsibility for everything. So all those things matter. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. So it's a fact that due to varying our work habits, environments that we live in, preferences, and even personality, there is no one-size-fits-all approach to being productive, efficient, or effective. Ultimately, it will actually come down to finding the right technique and tool set that complement your personal approach to work. So I believe with the help of our distinguished panel members who generously shared their professional and personal life experiences, you are now open to try out the tools and techniques and use those tips to find extra hours to thrive in all aspects of your life to reach the apex. I thank our exceptionally talented panelists, Mr. Prashantha Laldi Alvis, President's Council, Mrs. Dilani Alagaratnam, and Mr. Sudak Pereira for their valuable time spent with us today. Let me also quickly thank Chairperson of the BASL Webinar Committee, Mr. Rajiv Amarasuriya, Chairperson of the BASL Professional and Career Development of Women Lawyers Committee, Madam Indika Nagaratna Kotagoda, and Co-Chairperson, Mrs. Nalani Manatunga, for placing the trust on me as the moderator of this session. With that note, I will now hand over all proceedings back to Tanuja. Tanuja.
Thank you, Mrs. Umeshika Dalpadatu. On behalf of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, the Professional and Career Development of Women Lawyers Committee of the Bar Association, and the Seminars Committee, I would like to thank Mr. Prashantha Laldi Alvis, President's Council, Mrs. Dilani Alagaratnam, Mr. Sudak Pereira, and Mrs. Umeshika Dalpadatu for this very informative and valuable session on the topic, Beating the Clock to reach the apex. I would also like to thank all of you who joined us through Zoom and YouTube, and for the questions that you have submitted, which made this webinar an interesting one. Thank you, everyone. Do join us next week at 7 p.m. for the next webinar of this series. Stay safe and good night.